Hi, welcome to the Backline. My name is Theron Woods, and today our guest is Chris Gales. Chris is from the Memphis area, lives in South Haven, Mississippi, and from where?
Nesbitt, Mississippi.
Nesbitt, Mississippi.
All DeSoto County, home of Jerry Lee Lewis.
That's right, Jerry Lee Lewis. And so Chris comes up today to join us and talk a little bit about his musical journey in life, and he's also got a very cool job of playing at Lawler's place.
King Jerry Lawler's Hall of Fame Bar and Grill.
Yep. Down on Beale Street. And so, Chris, thanks for coming today. Thanks for coming up and visiting with us.
Thanks for having me.
We just met a few minutes ago and we talked about music, and we've got a lot of like interests. So today I think it's going to be a fun episode. So, Chris, how'd you get started in music? Did you start with the guitar, or did you?
Actually, my first serious instrument in formal training was with saxophone in junior high, high school, and through part of college. I played saxophone, tenor sax, and baritone sax.
So you studied music in college?
Yes, I did. I went to Northwest Community College, music education. Then I transferred to the University of Memphis with recording technology, commercial music. And unfortunately, I got a good job at UPS. And
UPS in Memphis?
UPS.
They have UPS in Memphis?
They have UPS everywhere, man.
FedEx is the big.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty fed up in Memphis. But anyway, edit that one. But yeah, I got my good job at UPS, and I ended up dropping out of school and just becoming IT. Eventually became an IT professional at United Parcel Service.
Did you aspire to be a music teacher?
No, that was the only thing that was offered at Northwest Community College, and I went there immediately after high school, and then was going to transfer to commercial music at the University of Memphis. So that's how that.
Commercial music, like recording.
Recording technology and music business are both offered. Were both offered at the University of Memphis at the time. But I was going to go for the recording technology. I wanted to be in the studio, hands-on, touching things and sliding faders and messing with reel-to-reels back then.
Did you get to work with tape?
No, actually I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't.
That's a whole nother subject that us geeks will get into if we don't watch it.
Yeah.
So when did you start playing the guitar? When did you pick that up and realize that you really loved it?
I always wanted to play guitar. Always. From a little bitty boy, I'd go. In fact, when I would go to grandma's and stay for a while, I'd come back home and I'd search the closets for a guitar. I wanted me a guitar bad. But I got the little Sears and Roebuck ones, the ones you could never keep tuned and all. You're not ever going to learn on one of those. But I didn't get an actual guitar until I was 15. And the rest is history. The rest is history.
Did you just pick it up and start singing?
No. In fact, to this very day, if I could get away with not singing, I would love to do that. I just wanted to play guitar.
That's why I don't have a mic over here.
Yeah.
You got the mic today.
Yeah, they just shoved this one in my face, you know. But no, I just loved it, and I started off with playing stuff like green sleeves and stuff like that. Simply, I was more of a melodic, not so much rhythm, because of the saxophone training. And then, as time progressed, I started expanding, learning more, and eventually started singing also.
Who was the guitarist that made you want to learn?
I cannot really put my finger on one guitarist. The Chuck Berry, back then, Johnny B. Good was a thing. Then there was Van Halen,
Oh yeah.
Stevie Wonder. Little BB King. BB King. I grew up with BB King up in the house. But I can't really put my finger on one guitarist. It was just music in general, to be honest with you. And guitar just was the one I wanted to gravitate toward.
Yeah, that's the way I was. I started on the piano, taking lessons, and I wanted to play by ear. You know, for some reason I wanted this felt better.
Right.
Than this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And with the saxophone, it was the same way, man. It's like I get in trouble for practicing the guitar because I wasn't practicing the saxophone. But the second they left, I put the saxophone down and picked up the guitar.
Were you playing any John Coltrane or anything like that, saxophone, or any jazz or anything like that?
Actually, man, it was more of David Sanborn, a jazz group called Flim and the BBs. Stuff like that. That's what I really, really loved.
Yeah.
Back then.
So you liked that melodic instrument, and you took that over to the guitar. What's some of the first stuff you started playing?
Like I said, Green Sleeves was like one of the first ones. I don't even remember how I used to play it. Stuff like that, just picking along with stuff like that, and playing along with Sesame Street.
Oh, Sesame Street, yeah.
Yeah, playing along with Sesame Street, just sitting around playing along with the TV.
Yeah, they always had a different guest every week, and
yeah,
I remember when I was a kid. So, Chris, you're from Mississippi, and obviously there's a lot of great musicians that come from there.
Yes.
Who are some of your favorite Mississippi musicians?
Of course, B.B. King. B.B. King. Then there's Robert Johnson.
Yes, sir.
I never really listened to a whole lot of Robert Johnson until I was much older. And I began to appreciate, you know how, it's kind of like, lima beans. You hate them as a kid. But when you get a little older, those things good. It's good to revisit those.
Yes.
But yeah, same thing. I've really grown to appreciate Robert Johnson. And B.B. King, of course. B.B. King is actually, first of all, the guitar name is Lucille. My mom's name is Lucille. And my granddad actually grew up with in the town that B.B. was from.
Oh, really?
What is it, Itabino, whatever it's called?
Yeah, I'll Google it.
Yeah, he was telling stories about him back in the day.
Yeah.
So.
He get to see him play then?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Oh, wow.
I believe he did. Yeah.
I got to see him play once, and that was pretty awesome.
Well, I got to see him once in the '80s at the Mid-South Coliseum. Bobby Blue Bland, Coco Taylor, I believe, was there.
Yeah.
There were a couple of huge blues acts of the time that were there.
Mid-South Coliseum. It's gone now.
Mid-South Coliseum. It's still there, man. They're trying to revitalize it.
Really?
Yeah, they're trying to revitalize it, especially the big wrestling crowd. They're trying to revitalize.
Got to get that wrestling back in there.
Yeah, man.
That comes from down there too.
That's a Memphis thing, right?
That's right. That's right. Jerry Lawler. Yeah. So you don't just play blues. I've watched you on YouTube and seen some other things that you've done. And so it wasn't just as much blues comes from Mississippi. There's a lot of other things that come from there too.
Right. Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, 3 Doors Down is from Mississippi. Then we have what's his name? Charlie Pride is from Mississippi. So I mean, it's a huge genre of music. And I grew up, 2 or 3 miles away from Jerry Lee Lewis's home.
Yeah, what a player. Yeah. Another Memphis-ite. Memphian. Say.
Yeah.
So let's get to playing a song. So with the Crossroads being in Mississippi, I heard you playing it a while ago. You want to play the Crossroads?
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it.
Went down to the crossroads Oh, please have mercy on me. I'm standing at the crossroads, trying to black me a ride. I'm standing at the crossroads, trying to black me a ride. Oh, no one seems to know that. Oh, everybody just wanna pass me by. At the crossroads, feel like I'm sinking down.
That was awesome.
Yes, sir.
You've actually been to the Crossroads, haven't you?
Yes.
I've never been there. I want to go. I've been close, but
yeah, they got a tamale stand over there too, man. Believe it or not, they got a tamale stand right around the corner from the Crossroads.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, some of the best Mississippi tamales you can get. No kidding.
Well, I gotta go now.
Look it up. Look it up.
I gotta go.
Yeah. I went to the Crossroads there was a gentleman who had cancer, and his friends got together and they chartered a bus, and it was part of his bucket list to just tour the Delta.
So he took you on the blues tour?
On a little makeshift blues tour, and I was hired to sit on the bus, play guitar, and sing while they made their various stops at like Ground Zero, the Crossroads that Tamale plays. Drove over to Oxford and back home, and spent the day just sitting on the bus playing.
How long of a trip was that?
Oh man, it was about 12-hour trip. You know, we left 8 that morning, got back about 8 that night.
Did you go through like down Tunica to the new little museum there?
Yeah, I went to Tunica. We didn't stop at the museum. But we drove through Tunica, went on down to Clarksdale, hung out there for a while, had lunch. Then we drove on down to Rosedale, then Greenwood, Greenville, and then back on across to Oxford, back up to Holly Springs, Mississippi.
That's so cool to hear. Actually, those town names that are mentioned in those songs, those blues songs.
Yeah.
You know, and there's an old picture. I think it was in that museum, and it just kind of caught me. It was just you could see out across a field, and there was just one lone light out there. And I guess that's how it looked. About the red light. Was that right? There was a red light you could see.
Well, actually, I don't remember it from way back then. it was all developed by the time I got there.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
There was a picture there.
Old cotton fields. Well, driving through Tunica now, and then driving through Tunica years and years ago before all the casinos and everything there, I mean, I can see
Oh yeah.
the huge differences.
Yeah.
The huge differences.
Just if you can imagine taking those buildings away, it is just flat.
Right.
Forever.
And you could see occasional old shotgun houses left out there in the middle of a field somewhere, just running down, and you can venture back in your mind back to that time where the blues and the music that we know today was being developed in those little shotgun houses.
Right.
In fact, in 𝐾𝐲𝐻𝐾𝐒, there's a place where you can actually rent, like hotel rooms, those shotgun houses to stay in.
Really?
At the 𝐓𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐆 Commissary. 𝐓𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐆 Commissary.
What's it called?
𝐓𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐆.
𝐓𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐆? Okay.
in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Yeah. That's something my wife and I have talked about taking, going back and doing that. You know, just taking a day and doing it.
Yeah, and in Clarksdale, you can be walking around town in Clarksdale and run into Robert Plant. He's walking because he loves to go down there.
Oh wow. Yeah. Who's that guy? Well, Chris, you have spent a lot of time playing in the Memphis area. What took you there? I mean, obviously, the blues and it being the home of the blues took you there, but what got Chris to go play in Memphis?
Most of my years were spent playing in North Mississippi, around the North Mississippi circuit. I'd venture into Memphis from time to time, but what got me to Beale Street was, believe it or not, it was my version of Purple Rain. I played a little place called Mel's in South Haven on Highway 51, just south of the state line. And one of the waitresses there loved my version of Purple Rain. She also had a job on Beale Street, and they needed another musician, and she told the owner that she knew a guy who plays Purple Rain, plays stuff like that. And at the time, April Reynolds, she was looking for something a little different on Beale Street to break away kind of from the straight blues,
Right.
straight R&B.
Right.
And she told April about me. April told her, have me come up there. I went up there on a Sunday. It was the Sunday before Memphis in May started the following week. I drove up there. I walked through the door and introduced myself, and she said, I like the way you carry yourself. I like the way you speak. Didn't ask me to play nothing. She'd never heard me. She said, show up Tuesday. Have a show. And I was nervous about the thought of me playing on Beale Street by myself. Was just me and an acoustic guitar scared the heck out of me. So I reached out for my friend David Daniels, who was a veteran Beale Street performer, and David came up on stage with me, and we just split what April was going to pay me, and we did that for about a year. And then halfway through the following year, David went back to his tiling trade. He was a tiler by trade, and left me on stage by myself. So I got myself a little friend called a looper.
Yes, sir.
And I've been at 159 Beale, Superior Bar, Flynn's, and now King Jerry Lawler's Hall of Fame bar for 10 years this past April.
Wow.
April 27th.
Wow.
Well, it would have been, but I made it, but
Well,
still.
it'll come back.
Yeah.
It'll come back. It'll have to. So you spent 10 years. That's a lot of people coming through in one day. And earlier we were talking about this, and you said, in 1 hour you can play for so many people. But can you share just a little bit about kind of how your day works?
When I show up there, usually the bar opens at 11. I get there around 12, and there may be a few stragglers. But the first tour group brought in by one of the tour companies would come in about 12:30. So I'd make sure to be ready and primed to play for them at 12:30, because that's usually my bread and butter for that day, that tour group. If nobody else is on the street, I know that tour group, it could be anywhere from 2, could be 25 people.
Right.
Come up in there, and from all over the world, and I'll entertain for them. And as the day rolls on, people come in and out, and like I was telling you earlier, you can sit there and you can play to a virtually empty bar of 5 people all day long, but in actuality, you play for hundreds of people who's coming there to eat, drink, or just listen to the music.
Do you get repeat customers year to year?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. In fact, I'll have seen you the pictures later. There was one family that was there my very first year. I have a picture of them with me and David Daniels up on stage. Both of the sons are now grown. I think one of them's a police officer down from Australia.
Oh,
and
wow.
The little boy was a little bitty boy. Now he's this tall, basketball playing looking guy.
Wow.
And it's just amazing.
And they came back to see you again?
They came back to see me.
That is awesome.
And one of the most touching things was a young boy from St. Jude. And we get a lot of St. Jude people from St. Jude in there. And you be ready to cut.
Yeah.
If I start to lose it, but you can always tell with the bands. Mm-hmm. Some of them will have the bands, and some of them will have tubes and whatever, bald heads. But they come in there, and I always try to make it as special for them as I possibly can, because you don't know if they're there because things are getting better. You don't know if they're there because things are getting worse.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that I don't know if I'll ever see this kid again. Mm-hmm. You know. But there was one kid came in one Sunday, and I remember distinctly, he came in one Sunday, he wanted a song for he and his mom to dance to. So I played him a little song. I don't remember what it was. And, you know, I thanked them, as I do. And back then, me and the general manager, we would take care of them. They would walk away with at least the T-shirts and something, or well discounted food. Well, St. Jude pretty much paid for the meal, but we still would, you know. And, kid left, me not knowing if I'll ever see him. A few weeks later, I go to Applebee's in West Memphis, and there's this little boy sitting there. You can't understand what he's saying, but he's pointing at me, and I realized who it was. It was him, and I walked over there and said, "How you doing?" And he was just ecstatic. I went on and sat down. I finished my meal, asked for the ticket, and she said, "You're paid for." His grandfather, who had come down for the visit, actually took care of my meal. And I just sat there at the table just bawling. I was literally this grown man sitting and I got up and I went over there and I thanked him, and we talked for the longest time. Me still not knowing if I ever see this kid. And lo and behold, on a Sunday, I'm sitting there playing, and guess who walks through the door with long hair, aspiring to be a bass player? And, you know, that right there, you can feel my tip bucket all day long. But that right there is the power of music. We talked about that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And I think that's the best thing that I got from Beale Street. That right there. And you don't know how many of those kids walk up and down that street and go into the different venues and all that. I guess that's part of the wonderful aspects of Memphis. That's the whole St. Jude scene and what they're trying to do for those kids over there and seeing those families out there.
Yeah, for the families, especially.
Yeah.
Down there in Nashville, it's just not like that, you know. Mm-hmm. You don't see a whole lot of that because everybody's so selfish. Mm-hmm. But there's one thing that I love about Memphis. It is a mean-ass city, and if you don't watch it, it'll get you too. But it's so much more slow and personable, and I miss that.
We look at it from our standpoint. When you're sitting there and you're talking to people in our media, news media, but when you sit there and you talk to people from all over the world, talk about how wonderful the city is and what they're experiencing, you have some come in and say, "Hey, man, I was almost mugged by some homeless guy," or something like that. Mm-hmm. But, man, the vast majority of what you hear is all good. Yeah. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. It's a good... I hope that And music is very much still alive there, I believe. And I really can't speak to this as a you know, someone that frequents the city, but I know just as a fan of music and playing there and kind of seeing how things have gone throughout the years. I'm trying to be respectful as I can, but I really hope that after this, maybe all this comes back after COVID, I really hope that it comes back stronger. There's just a community, there's such a community of musicians down there. I just want it to be, I want it to come out more. I've got some good friends that play in great state of Arkansas, and that's where they pretty much stay, playing Memphis a lot, from Memphis. The Shotgun Billies and Lance McDaniel and that crew. They introduced me to that city a little bit more in depth, and you got a good place there. So obviously you have been touched by the city of Memphis and some of the things, some of the aspects of the city, like St. Jude's. Obviously you give back to people a lot with music. Is there any way that you've been touched by something that you've written about, or do you write much at all?
I do not write much, to be honest with you. To me, to write something and for it to be criticized, I'm too sensitive for that.
Yeah.
So I don't write as much as I should. I do have subject matter that I can write about, but I've had a good life for the most part, so I wouldn't be writing blues songs, you know.
It's hard to be a blues musician when you got
It's hard to be a blues
stuff's
musician
pretty good.
when, yeah, it's like, yeah. I thought about writing a song about that, but yeah, I've written a few songs, just a few songs, and usually the way it happens is I'm doodling around on stage or something, and I'll save it to the looper, take it home, throw it in there, and develop it into something else. And
nice. Power of technology.
The power of technology.
Thank you for helping me capture that.
Yeah.
That and the iPhone notes.
Hey, man.
Saved my life.
Yeah.
Well, do you mind playing something of yours for us?
Well, not at all. I'd love to.
Take off on it.
Yeah. Let's try again. Take it from the word alone. Oh, we could try, we could try, we could try. I'm staying here and I'm never letting go. I know that sometimes it will be tough, but working through it, that's part of the game. We will survive, we will survive, we will survive. Now that's the object of this game called love. Forget the rest of the world, focus on us. Building our love, our happiness and our trust. Let's try again. Take it from the word alone. Hello. Oh, we could try, we could try, we could try. Oh, I'm staying here and I'm never letting go. I know that sometimes it will be tough, and working through it, that's part of the game. But we will survive, we will survive, we will survive. Now that's the object of this game called love. Get the rest of the world focus on us, building our love, our happiness, and our trust. I love you and you love me. That is what it is, but so much more is gonna be. So what do you say to the idea of us just trying again? Whoa, just trying again. Oh, let's just try again. Oh, let's try again. Oh, this game called love.
Great song. I can tell you play a lot because that was a one time. You didn't have to recut that at all. You just took off and.
Oh, we could have. There's a few things I would.
I know. I didn't notice it. No, that's great playing. Yeah. So you play every day. Well, COVID had shut us down in March, but you were playing pretty much every day, right?
Yeah. It had changed. I started playing from just pretty much Thursday through Saturday there. But yeah, before that I was playing 7 days a week, 8, 12 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'd play the 2 shows there and end up going somewhere else and sitting in with somebody sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got a lot of friends playing up and down the street at the same times?
Yeah, actually I do have a few, but I'm not really I'm kind of an introvert. Yeah. I'll come in through the back door and leave through the back door.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have quite a few people that play, friends that play up and down the street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are your future plans? What do you plan on? Do you plan on doing anything on your writing some more? Or?
Yes. I plan on writing. Streaming. I was doing streaming 2-3 years ago before streaming was cool. Before COVID made streaming so cool. Yeah. And fortunately, that has been what has kept me afloat through this. Contracted with the company, and I stream.
What is it that you stream? Do you have a channel, or if you want to tell viewers about your?
Yeah, I do the Periscope. I do the Twitch. There's a company called 𝐓𝐿𝐸 that I stream for and contracted with, and that has kept me afloat. That, and before all of the social unrest, I was doing Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it still allowed me to continue making music and doing the music thing. Mm-hmm. And
mm-hmm. Yeah, us musicians have to do what we got to do, especially now.
We have to do. Yeah.
One thing that COVID has definitely taken away from us is the opportunity to play with other musicians. And so how about we actually play these 2 guitars simultaneously at the same time together?
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
I like that. Yes, sir.
Woo!
That was nice. Well, Chris, thank you for coming on the show today. It's so nice to meet you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're going to come back.
I hope so.
We're going to get a part 2.
Love that.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today on The Backline. Thank you for joining Chris and I, and we will see you next time on The Backline.